on the Instagrams. Are we live? Hello! Okay, we are live on Riverside and hopefully then YouTube as well. So now, don't ask me how I'm going to see the comments because I don't actually know how you do that. Well, let me get this out of here and see if this helps. Hi, friends. Happy freaking Friday. I'm so grateful to see you all. Glad to see you all. There we go. Let's do that. Okay. Glad to be here. I have been like, story time to start us off. First and hello. My name is Michelle Ushimare. I am an experienced designer, business strategist, head cousin at the Business Cousins Collective. My work in the world is in supporting contribution-centered leaders, run businesses that they love, do the good that they want to see in the world, craft and curate all of those experiences, and have a good damn time while we do it. Hello, Paula. Good to see you. Have a good damn time while we are doing it. And these are our Friday lives. Normally I go live once a week. We do a quick little check-in, and then I have a topic to chat about. And before we even get into all of that story freaking time, I have been on the internet more today than I have in forever. It's crazy, Paula, because we were just talking this week. And I want you to know, we are live on YouTube, hopefully. Fingers crossed. I hope this ends up live on YouTube. I'm recording it just in case if I need to upload it later. I'm trying like a Riverside thing, and I've never done it before, so we'll see if it's working. I can't see like confirmation that says like, you are live. But we just hope it's working. But I just want to thank you for inviting us to explore YouTube as a place for this type of content, because you are 100% correct, and it was absolutely the right decision. Appreciate you sharing your wisdom with us. Wanted to make sure to say that because I can see you live here on the chat. But y'all, I have been, if any of you have been following along, I posted something to my woo-woo friends on Thursday, and I've just been getting all this information, and it didn't even occur to me that there's so much astrologically happening this week that probably would be the reason and the catalyst for why so much of this was stirring, at least within me, because I am a girl who is pretty sensitive to collective shifts. And at least that's how I experience myself. When the moon is mooning, I'm like, what's going on? And then I go look, and it's like, oh. So this was no different. And I was getting all of these downloads. I made a little post. We're having so many conversations in the comments and in my DMs. And then I realized that, like, you could reply to someone's comment with a reel. Again, she's not a techie girl, but in moments like this, I feel like I could be making rockets. I'm like, look at me learning the tech things. I'm over here, hopefully, on Riverside, live on YouTube. Look at me getting techie. Again, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? Ooh, but you know what? I bet you I didn't do this mic thing. I don't be... See, there we go. Oh, dang. Well, there we are. Hello, babes. I was celebrating my tech. Anyway, this is the other thing about going live on Fridays, that y'all about to get all the chaos. Since we're here talking about astrology, I am also a very Venus-y girl. Venus in my sun, Venus in my rising, Venus in my Venus, Venus in my south node, when we're looking at tropical, like traditional astrology. So I feel like I really do come alive on a Friday. I really do love a Friday. It's only my third favorite day of the week because, like I said, I am a relatively sensitive person. So I there's a feel for me about how I personally experience every day of the week. And Friday is probably like my third favorite experience. But if I'm got a little something to say, it's fun to do on a Friday for whatever reason. It's like I always feel like I have something that I want to say on a Friday. So y'all about to get all of that in the chaos of what is coming in this here Friday series. And it's been cute. So this one is rounding out our contribution-centered business series and kind of, born on a Friday. See, I was born on a Sunday. Paola says, me too, I was born on a Friday. I was born on a Sunday. So Sunday is actually my favorite day of the week because I just feel the most myself on a Sunday. I also happen to have very interesting Jupiter transits in my chart, which I don't know, it's kind of like chicken or the egg. I realized that Thursday for a long time was like my second favorite day. I was like, oh gosh, you're such a Libra. You can't have one favorite day. It's always like Sunday and Thursday. So Sunday's my first favorite day. Thursday is my second favorite day because I don't know what it is about Thursday. Almost every Thursday, again, life considering, I will wake up with just the inspiration to do whatever I am called to do. And it's this interesting, like, very woo woo. Once I had the woo, oh, it was a wrap. Like, very woo woo, very introspective. Like, if I'm gonna be singing and dancing and praying and crying, just this last Thursday, I was sitting on this damn couch right here. Quite literally, went into a meditation with a beautiful chorus song. Didn't open my eyes up until 45 minutes later. Don't even know what happened there. Don't even know what happened there. Like, went to a place. If something like that is going to happen to me, it typically happens to me on a Thursday, which is also why I typically schedule my work in a way where in the morning we've kind of got some more structured things. So maybe some people on my calendar, I may have really good, expansive conversations to have. And then in the afternoon, I'm usually co-working because, again, the most serendipitous, magical little aha collab moments have happened on Thursdays when I've been co-working with the homies. So Thursdays is my second favorite day. And then there's Friday, where I just feel sassy. Sassy things in my life have always happened on a Friday. Sassy things. Now, and again, to this conversation as we're sitting here having a chat, right? We've been in this series of thinking about contribution-centered business. And this kind of conversation is a nod to what we talked about last week around how we're wired and designed. I have spent a large portion of my entrepreneur experience really trying to discover how to run a business that actually works around me, who I am, what I need, because it's different than a lot of the people who were around me that seemed very successful in running their businesses. It just was. I'm not the most consistent person, and consistency didn't come to me with ease. And so I'm like, well, what are my hacks for consistency, productivity? Girl, requires a level of consistency. That good old ADHD executive dysfunction takes a couple good hits at that as a concept. And so it's like, well, what else am I designed to do if not that? What are the roots of some of that thing? It's part of the reason why I spend so much time in my personal development journey, diving into kind of what those intricate pieces have been, because it's necessary. It's literally what's between me and feeling like I am executing in the ways that I would want to with my business. So it's been this interesting, like, people make these concepts so woo woo woo, but it's been very practical for me. Very much like, I'm having a problem, a symptom. Where can I go to get resources about it? The same way that I would if it was like a physical health symptom. It's kind of the same kind of thing. And I think I've been a person, for those of you all who are new to me, I've been a person to whom I had a lot of, everybody's been telling me, like, oh my God, you should have a business. Oh my God, you should just have your own business. Like, you should just be an entrepreneur, for like a decade before I made that decision. I had many resources to do it for like a decade before I made that decision. And I was like, there's no way that I could do that. I'm struggling at my job. There's no fucking way that, like, I'm going to be my own boss of my own time. Not only was it something that I didn't see a lot of people with like a lived experience of, there were a lot of people around me who were doing it, but they weren't talking about like the work of what it takes to actually do it. And what I saw was like these super productive, neurotypical, effective people that I was like, I be here on vibes. I care deeply about what it is that I'm doing, and I care to the umpteenth level about the people to whom I'm doing it for. I will give my right arm and a piece of my kidney if it's going to do the thing that I feel is going to be the best for the other people. But fucking structuring it, showing up to it, dedication, all of the Saturn conversation and discipline. I'm having like my own personal summer with my experience of those things. They just were things that didn't come easy to me. And so the more that I spent time understanding my wiring, understanding the way in which I am built to function in life, the person that I was built to be in my contribution and in my business became such a natural, clear path. It was like, oh, I just don't do it like that. I remember reading, I think I still told this story again. I'm becoming this old person that just tells stories over and over, and I don't know who I told my story to, so I'm gonna tell it again. My apologies if it's a repeat. I looked at my chart. I remember once toward the beginning of my journey with astrology, I was looking at my astrological chart, and it was like in the pattern or something. And it was like a partner pattern thing. And they like sent me a little note that was like something for couples to read. Welcome in, Denise. Good to see you. And the pattern literally said, Portia is just not like everybody else. And it went on to explain like how strange and alien I was about certain thoughts and concepts, and how certain things that were easy for other people were going to be more difficult for me, but things that were easy for me or were difficult for other people to wrap their brain around. And Lord, I remember getting into the beginning of my human design journey and it being like, so you have a double projection field. So people don't actually even know you. What they think they know is what they view of themselves and how they view your ability to help them. And that's literally mostly what they're going to see unless they really take the time to get to know you. And I was just like, oh, I'm such a weirdo. But blessed are the weirdos, right? We're here to do great work. We're here to, obviously do things in ways that we don't necessarily see around us. And now that I understand my weird and I understand what those things in the chart mean, I don't look at them as like hindrances. I kind of look at them like, to the point I was having a conversation with Paola about like permission slips. I look at them like, oh, I get permission to be my full weird self. And somehow the universe is going to figure out how my business functions. And I'll tell you, coming around I think this is coming into my 8th year, it's worked out. It's worked out so far. For those of you all who are just joining, we're having a conversation around where we are finding ourselves in this contribution formula conversation. And I'm speaking about reflecting on last week when we were talking about how you're designed to run a business. And so this week, as I am navigating all of this downloads and ahas and conversations that I've been having about things to do, they have been really an attribution, I don't know if that's a word, attributed to how much time I've spent learning how I'm wired and not letting it be something that keeps me from everything that I want to do in my world, like I did for the first probably 25, 26, 28 years of my life. Now that I'm embracing all of that and learning how to work with it, there's so much available for me as a resource to be able to do what I'm here and called to do, to be able to find the unique ways that I need to set up a schedule and a business model and a vehicle for contribution and a client experience model. These things are important, particularly if you're someone who's like me, who's been told over and over again that you probably can't have a business because you don't show up like this, or it's probably the reason why you're doing too much of that woo stuff, so that's probably why you're not making money, or you're doing too much of this stuff and it's probably because you have limited beliefs and mindsets. Yeah, I do have limiting beliefs and mindsets, but the main thing that was holding me back was not understanding how I was wired to do it and trying to use somebody else's model on my body, right? It doesn't always work like that. Sometimes you can wear your big brother's sweatshirt, but oftentimes you struggle to wear your big brother's shoes if they're 2 to 3 sizes bigger than your foot. Like there are some things when you borrow someone else's, it's really uncomfortable. And I think that definitely was my life. And I know that it's a lot of y'all's because we have this conversation all the time. I'm always talking to folks and they're making themselves wrong about something because it doesn't look like someone else's. And sometimes the reason why you're not getting the result that you are envious of is because you're not doing it the way that you're meant to do it. Sometimes the goalpost is in a weird place. Most of the time, it's we don't know ourselves. And how important and imperative and necessary necessary a leadership journey it is to get to know you, how you're wired, and the good that you actually care about. This whole 3-part conversation has been about unlocking your contribution superpowers in this world. And clearly, since we've been in the comments, I've been chitty-chatting about it all morning long, and now I've been kind of in my own downloads and sitting in and around it and having conversations about it. I'm clear that it ain't just me who's noticing that a new world is literally forming underneath our feet. There are people who've been spending the last, I don't even know how long, creating it. There are some of us who are coming in midway through the journey. There's some of us who won't even be on that boat for another 5-10 years to go. But there's a group of us who signed up to be in the hallway, who were like, hey, we are here to support folks going from one end to the other, which means that we got to go from one end to the other. But what does business look like as a part of all that? That's been this entire conversation. And this last section of the formula kind of rounds out what I believe to be again, a formula of sorts of decisions to consider that allow you to better map and strategize your plan for the good that you want to see in the world and the work that your body of work can do to be able to achieve it. Hi, Karen. Good to see you. I'm so glad I'm closer to the screen. I can wave at the people. So that's this conversation. The last 3 weeks, we talked about the first 3 parts of the formula, which are vision, people, design, and resources. We talked about vision, right? What is the real good that you want to see in the world? Or what is the main suffering that you want alleviated? Same conversation. And what do you want to do about it? What part of the work that you do or the business that you run actually takes you forward and moves forward the good that you actually want to see in the world? We talked about that week 1. Week 2 is all about the people, right? And what are the 3 categories? The people that you do it for, those are usually clients, right? The people who you do it with, those are your collaborators, co-conspirators, co-defendants, depending on what we're doing. Those are your collaborators. And then also we talk about your community catalysts, the gatekeepers, the gate openers, the people who are already gathering all your people that you can go and be around. How do we grow your ecosystem of people, right? That was week 2. Last week, we talked a lot about how you're wired and designed, right? So how are you uniquely wired and designed? Maybe you're like me from the beginning of this very chaotic call where we were talking about me navigating and learning that I'm designed to be sensitive to the days of the week, so I know which days I like and where, and kind of talking a little bit about how that's shown up for me in my business. And then part 4 is how you are resourced. Now, your design is one of the wonderful resources that you have. Absolutely one of them, but there are lots of resources that lots of people have. And I think that we don't realize how resourced we are in being able to do the good that we really want to do in the world, right? So again, I said earlier today on like a little clip that I was saying about what I'm going to go live here is this statement that's been constantly coming to me over the last like 2.5 years, actually, since ever meeting Kira Buckley. I promise you, it probably fell out of her mouth and I'm just re-saying it, is that Source will never give you a vision that it does not give you provision for. Right? Source will never give you a vision that does not give you provision for, right? What do I mean by source? What do I mean by vision and provision? Source is what I call the energy that created you, whatever you want to call it, God, source, universe, however, whatever name you give the thing that created the energy that you are and the thing that you will go back to when you're done, that is what we call source, right? Vision will never give you an idea, an insight, an aha, an inspiration that you are not given provision, resources to be able to produce in the world. You'll never be given something that you wake up with every single night that you are supposed to do, that you have no resources to be able to make happen. It does not happen. It's not a reality. Now, the other section of that sentence that I literally downloaded to me a couple of weeks ago was at the right time and in the right place. Sometimes we get a vision for something that is 10 years down the road, but we're getting the vision for it right now. The provision hasn't quite yet shown up, but it's because what there is to do is to put that seed in the ground and wait for it to blossom in and of itself on its own. When it's time, the provision will show up. Shout out to freaking Courtney in our Healers Haven group, right? When Kira Buckley's devotion, one of the things that she was mentioning is like when provision is in or out, that's usually how I know that it's the right time to do something or not. That provision is imperative. Karen says, so if you can dream it, you can do it, and the resource is coming. And is. And the conversation about the resource, we also sometimes, I think, we're literally sitting in a pot of gold of resources, but because they're not the resources that we're used to looking for, we don't even look at them as resources. So sometimes that exact dream that you can do isn't far down the line. It's actually asking right now for you to pay attention to it. You just aren't catching the signs. So I want to talk a little bit about types of resources. So obviously let me say it this way. The resource is understanding and having knowledge of the way that you're wired and designed. Self-actualization and self-knowledge is a huge resource, right? You knowing how you're wired so that when the opportunity comes, you know how you can show up to it. That is a resource. Your personal development is a resource. Your network is a resource. So many people forget that you may not have the money in your pocket, but you may have the connection to the money in your pocket sitting in your contact list that you don't even think about because you're so focused on the money that's in your pocket. People are an access point to so many things. Literally, I was just sitting with Ilona last night. We were having this conversation over that bomb-ass cake that she bought. And we were talking about the idea that like, yes, you need money for a lot of things, but if somebody can give you the thing that you needed the money for, does that not create the same level of abundance as you having the money to pay for it? And oftentimes there are some things we can do that with, some things that we can't, but there's a lot more that we can that we just don't. The people around you and being an interconnected community, again, this is the future, but it also is a resource. Huge resource are the people who are around you and what that ends up looking like. Thank you. I'm glad this is resonating. Another huge resource that I don't think that people talk about is that desire in your belly, that passion, that thing that Tabitha Brown talks about that wakes you up and the dream you have over and over again. That is a resource. It's an insight to your intuition, your ability to connect and communicate with the ever-knowing knowledge that is attempting to come in and through you is a freaking resource. Karen, you're sweet. Karen said, you is a resource. And I appreciate it. I try to be. It's literally in every chart that I read, the only reason I came here is to literally be a resource. But again, that passion and that drive is also a resource. Do you know how many people wake up every single day with nothing in their belly? If you are somebody who wakes up with something in your belly, that is a resource. It'll pull you forward. It's likely the thing that done helped you make a way out of no way before. How often do you use it to get the things you say you want? How can we use it strategically to do the good that really matters to you? This is what I'm asking us to try on, right? How is desire and drive a resource? A lot of y'all relate to desire and drive like it's irritating. It's like, why is this thing waking me up in the middle of the night, making me want to do something that I don't have time to do? I would look at your life and how it's oriented and ask yourself, why is it that my desire and drive is so low a priority that it's irritating when it asks me to pay attention to something that would bring me my joy and probably alleviate some suffering or do some real good in the world? What kind of life must I've created for myself that I don't even have time to prioritize that? And if that's not a life that you really want, start asking yourself, what is one step that you can make to decrease that energy? Because there's something there, right? We may be picking up a tool to craft a prison for ourselves when it's not necessary. It's just not necessary. Don't make your drive and your passion a problem. Make your drive and your passion have space in your life. And if your life is so oriented to which drive and passion is a problem, let's maybe rethink how we created our life. Let's pick something to do. Because again, a lot of us have been built inside of these systems that have told us that there's no space for us. If you want to create a system that doesn't look like that, you have to start somewhere. You can easily start there. Let me get in the comments. Karen says, this is so good right now. I'm teaching married women to tap into that in their belly, that fire. And this is a fire season. Literally, again, the astrology girl, I turned on the app today and it was like 7 planets in Aries. And everyone's like, burn it down, burn it down. And also, like, weirdly enough, half the country warehouses are being burnt at the same time. There's a fire conversation happening. There is a way that it's destructive, but there's a way that it's activating. And I know you've seen it, getting that in the belly, because so many of them think marriages are their ultimate purpose. What? Karen, you done said a word. You done said a word. You done said a word. I could go down that word for another whole 45 minutes. But I think it is such an interesting receipt as to one of the ways in which we abdicate our power, our passion, our agency. When you believe that the access is the goalpost, marriage is an access to something. Access to what? Your only goal can't be the car when you don't have no goals about where the car is going, what it provides for your life, what's available, and who you do not have to compromise yourself to participate in. Because I know that's your, see, I know. Right? This idea that sometimes we're living in a world that was created for us versus designing the world that we want to see. And I think what I'm asking us to do is to pick up some of your resources and start designing the world that you want to see. Okay. Other types of resources that you may or may not really consider, right? Some of the loud ones right now for me are expertise. I'm literally sitting here crafting and curating this space for the new cohort that's going to be opening up with Oshimari Learning called Expertise Activated. And something that really sat with me is how often my clients think that expertise is just like a course that you took, or like a program that you did, or a certification that you have, or like lots and lots and lots and lots of years of experience in a particular role, maybe, you know, in HR, or maybe at somewhere, or as a mother, or as a leader in your community, right? You think that like the long living of that is the only expertise that you can have. So people will sit to me and they're like, well, I'm not an expert. And I'm like, there's learned expertise, but there's also lived expertise. Lived expertise is literally, good to see you, my love. Lived expertise, and thank you for coming. Lived expertise looks like, you know, the trauma that didn't break you, the ridiculous amount of experiences that you've had over and over and over again. My mama's in the room. I'm always like, your ability to make order out of chaos, because it is a part of your everyday life. If you don't think about it as something that you've been growing discipline in, but if I asked you what's one action you've been taking every single day of your life since you had kids, it is making order out of chaos. It is the ability to be able to, you know, pull forward a piece of strength and like brain capacity when you have zero sleep and zero resources. That's an expertise, you know, and to be honest, you know, it's an expertise that a lot of these Brad Chads inside of these companies don't have. And so now that they're having to deal with un poquito chaos, they're dying. So, no shade. Let me stop yelling. It's Friday. It's getting sassy over here. But anyway, that is a type of lived expertise. And I think that while I'm cautious, because look, it's a whole bunch of people out here being like, I'm an expert, and you like, please sit down, because you don't actually have the expertise that you're saying that you do, and lying about it makes you a snake oil salesman, and that's gross. There is also this kind of lane with most of the people that I sit in front of have so much expertise, but because they don't have certifications, they don't necessarily believe that they do. So there's an interesting conversation to sit with if you are one of those people. But think through from a business strategy perspective. When I think about the clients that I've had so far in my lifetime and had the ability to work with, and again, it still blows me every time that it is hundreds of one-to-ones, thousands in group, which, you know, we give thanks for being booked, blessed, and in my contribution. I can see so many faces, like more than 50 faces of conversations that I've had with people, that the thing that they know to do and that they've been doing for years and been doing really well is what people are buying. But that lived expertise of the walk of their talk is why people are staying, continuing to stay, continuing to refer, renewing, right? Like there is a vibrational frequency that comes from having walked a path over and over and over again that just shows up alongside of just the regular things that you're good at, right? That you've spent time cultivating and curating and getting an expertise around. So I say that to say that both are resources and all of it is needed. If we think about it, you need a network and to know how you're wired and to think about what you're great at when you try hard and the things that you're great at just naturally without trying hard. That talent that just comes with you or came through your lineage has been dropped down ancestor over ancestor, grandmother over grandmother, that gives you the ability to do things that you don't even know why you can do them, right? All of that is resource. And I think that I want us, one, because I need my good coach bag, categorize. Start listing them out so that when you feel like you have no way, there's a list somewhere of a way. Oh, I actually do this. And what would be really powerful to add to that is give yourself a story receipt. I love this process. I don't know who introduced this to me, and I wish that I could, I'll pass it along. If somebody that introduced it to me and I think added to it, it could also, maybe it was Jabria. Could have been Jabria. Jabria, let me know if you watch this. Find evidence in the structure of a story and write yourself that story, right? So if you write down, one of my resources is that I can make a way out of no way. Write down one or two stories of a time that you made a way out of no way that was impossible, that you beat against the odds. If one of your resources is that, you've got really strong familial connections, write down who and why and what did they do that made you know that they were going to be somebody that's in your corner, right? Or relationship tested, right? I know that my romantic relationship can go the distance. Write down the times that it could have not. And it made it by the grace of God. Write those things down, right? Making sure that we're clear how we are resourced is such a large part of being able to actualize those resources in our life. So that is kind of a bit of the conversation around resource. And I think our resources leverage our ability to actually get our contribution in the world, right? So we know if we can go back to our formula, right? And again, this is a formula for getting more good out into the world. If you would like to unlock your ability to contribute deeply to the communities that really matter to you and their ability to contribute deeply to you in reciprocity, I think this formula works. Figure out a vision for the good you want to do. Figure out the people to do it with and for. Figure out how you're wired to do it. And then find and categorize and actualize your resources towards it, right? Now, a little bit on the actualization conversation. A lot of us are waiting to get permission to utilize that thing, to lean on that connection, to finally ask my cousin for that piece, to do the thing that I know that I'm great at, to take that dance class just to see if I actually like how I feel in my body, to take that picture and look at that thing and be brave because I know that I'm going to ask my clients to be brave. So I know I need to. Whatever permission you're waiting for, here you go. You have permission. Please go do the thing. Please go do the thing. And please allow this permission to hold space like a bookmark and a reminder that you can give yourself permission to do it anytime. It ain't got to wait for me. Ain't got to wait for nobody else. You don't need external validation to give yourself permission to do what the hell you came here to do. And if you remember from our first conversation, I kind of believe purpose is one of those things that at the end of our life, when we're looking back at it, all of the actions that we did will make sense and we'll go, oh, well, that must have been my purpose. Purpose tends to be a thing that you be, a vibration that you bring in reaction to the life that you have and the things that you do. But everybody does come here with like a mission. Again, I love how Lee said it on the Mayim. Everybody does come here with a mission. And if you spend time getting to know that mission, giving yourself even permission to dream about it and imagine it and not just make it wrong because your life doesn't look like it has space for it right now, but just like a little bit, just allow yourself to daydream about it if that's where you are. If you're past there, allow yourself to imagine a life where that mission could be a part of the things that you do on a more consistent basis. And if you're doing it consistently, then how do we make that every day? In every way. Wherever you're at, there's a step that you can take that gets you closer to the world looking like you want it to look by doing what you came here to do. A lot of us use business as our vehicle for that. Welcome in, Alicia. Good to see you. A lot of us use business as our vehicle for that. And if business is your vehicle for that, let's really start to think about it. We started this series, before we even got into the 4-part with talking about un-Epsteining your business. Like, look, if all that is without is within and we're all interconnected, then wherever the fuck on this timeline this bullshit exists must be something internally resonant. And if it's all of us and we're family, then there's something we have to deal with on the internal so that stops being a reflection of what we need to learn and grow. And if we're going to be about that work, yes, we can break down these systems that were built to crush us and oppress us. But then we also have to build up something in its place. And based on the comments that I saw, a lot of us don't really know what that is and where and when to a certain extent. But the parts that we are getting, the vision that we are getting, has to do with caring and bringing more care to the communities that really are calling us and receiving more care from the communities that really are calling us. And the only way that we're going to do it is to start thinking about it that way. Contribution is not transactional in a way that we're used to. I think that it's the idea of being in reciprocal relationship. And I think I just want across the board more of us to sit in, what does that mean by how I walk my talk today? Hi. And Parchelle says, so real. I'm so glad. What does that mean by how I walk my talk today? If you're commenting on YouTube, I'm so sorry that I can't see you. I'm learning Riverside today. My bad. I'll come back. But I can see these comments here on the IG. All right, friends. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's it for today. I'm liberated to Fridays. So some more sassy conversation, I'm sure, is coming. I'm sure as more things download and more conversations that I have come, and folks want to know more things, we can have more conversations about what this looks like. I'm interested to know what y'all want to talk about. It's Friday, so it's giving a key. Welcome in, Peter. Good to see you. I sent you a message. Get back with me. So I'm open. And I feel like Tuesday lives were very we got to teach, we got to train. I want you to have the things. These Friday lives feel a little key. They feel a little bit what do we want to talk about? What do we want to deepen into? What do we want to expand into? Feel a little bit more fun. So I'm open. Give me some topics that you want to be having conversations about. If anything that I've talked about over the past couple weeks has sparked a desire to go deeper in inquiry, give it to me. I done already petitioned Ilona to come live with me to talk about this 2027 human design transit, we'll call it, and the prophecy associated with that. Again, feels so wonderfully Harry Potterish that I love it. So I know we're going to do that in the future. I feel like some people are coming to town. So we may do a live when people come to town if I can. No promises. Let me see if there's anything else to say about that. Nope, I think that's the bit of that business. Oh, okay, wait. One thing before we go. So, because I feel like this is ridiculous, but I should say this. So this is one of the things that's been coming to me that I've been really excited about the idea, just thinking about. And I'm like, where is the business use case and the time to do this? So Spirit has been showing me that it would be so fun to gather community to learn around an album in the same way that people learn around a book, like a book club, but an album club, particularly for albums that are structured to teach, to amplify, to inspire, to ignite. And I have been so inspired, taught, ignited by this To Whom It May Concern Jill Scott album. And when I have conversations with women of a certain age, queer folks of a certain age, it hasn't been any men, mostly the theys, the thems, and us, of a certain age, it's like, oh yeah, when she said this, I felt this. When she said that, I felt that. I'm feeling the this. 3 to 5 of my friends are feeling it. This feels like a soundtrack to it. Welcome in, Jabria. Good to see you. And I've been getting all of these downloads on ways to curate a learning circle around this To Whom It May Concern album in preparation for the fact that a lot of us are going to go see Jill on tour. And I kind of just want to be in community conversation around what's amplifying and inspiring for me while I'm consuming this Jill Scott content, while y'all are consuming this Jill Scott content, what it's amplifying for us, and what it feels like when we go to the concert. Like, this feels like I'm getting the downloads pre the Break My Soul moment that I was not prepared for previously. Because there was like a moment with Renaissance that the communities were having, but I wasn't in community to be able to be having it, that feels like a different conversation around this Jill Scott album. But this Jill Scott album also feels like a node to women, to Black women, to women of color that have just been kicked in the teeth, stepping into some new shit. And being like, enough is enough. We're moving forward. I'm finna be great. Why not? It's giving that. Anyway, that's one of these random things that Spirit had just been like waking me up in the middle of the night and been like, you could do this, and then we could do that, and then this could happen, and then this could happen, and wouldn't that be fun? And I've been getting all of these ideas around tailgating a concert like you would tailgate a football, but like with the business cousin homies that are having this conversation around, empowerment and amplification. And so that's kind of some of the shit that I'm like, with what money and what time? But Spirit's like, I didn't ask you that. I didn't ask you all that. I asked you to write it down. I'm like, okay, I'll write it down. I will dream on it. I will allow it to take up space in my being. I will let my sick girl energy be all excited about it. I'll talk about it on a Friday with the homies, So that is one of the things that has been coming. I realized that I'm like, this feels like people always tell me that I'm like a cliffhangery bitch. Like, you're always leaving us on a cliffhanger. I'm doing all this talking about like, here, there's so many ideas that are coming and then I'm not telling what the ideas are. This is my attempt to be like mildly less cliffhangery. All right, friends, that's the bit of the business. Thanks for coming. Thank you for paying attention to this live series. It has been so fun to do. So excited to kind of be in a bit of a new conversation coming up here soon around it. Excited to kind of be, ready to start a new topic group. Now, let me tell you what's happening over the weekend. I may not be able to do that. Let me see. This is what happens when you be doing extra tech stuff. You don't actually know how any of the tech stuff works. Okay. Let's put the window over here. Let's open up a calendar. I know I'm going live at 2. I know that's happening in an hour. If you want to come live, not live. I'm live already. Lord Almighty. I'm doing office hours today at 2. If you have questions, Business Cousins and Squad, pop on into my office hours. Me and Michelle have office hours at the same time today. So Michelle has office hours from 2 to 3:30. That's PR office hours. And then I've got office hours from 2 to 3 this week. I am doing live every single week now because somebody told me that this would be a good idea. Paya probably said that this would be a good idea. So I am going live every single week. I am doing office hours also an hour after my live every single week. So Friday lives are going to be 12:12 p.m. PST every Friday. And then office hours are going to be 2 to 3 p.m. PST every Friday. You may be getting office hours from the pool next week because I'm supposed to be going to hang out with Ashlyn. Look at that. We give thanks. I love having local friends where we can do the freaking thing And it's pool season in Vegas before it's hot as hell. Okay, so next week, let's see, this week today, like we said, me and Michelle. Next week on Monday, the 20th, Jennifer's hosting her weekly Come Home to Your Body session at 1 p.m. PST. Come on home to your body with us and Jennifer. It's always a really quick session to get you in your body, in the decision place where all the good decisions get made, where your intuition lives, in the body. It's always like a really quick exercise, an opportunity to do some journaling, and then we head out. On Wednesday, April the 22nd, Paya has her operations office hours at 1 p.m. Come and ask Paya all things. How do I move? I'm ready to get my first VA. My email looks crazy. I feel disorganized. Come ask those questions to Paya, 1 to 2 p.m. PST, Wednesday, April 22nd. And then Jacente has her office hours Wednesday, April 22nd at 3 p.m. PST. Come ask Jacente all things money and money management. I'm trying to do a budget. It's working. It's not working. I would really like to save towards this goal. I want to pay off this thing. I want to get this level of revenue in my work and my business and organize myself to it. Come ask Jacente all of those questions. 3 to 4 p.m. PST, Wednesday, April the 22nd. And then on April the 23rd, on Thursday, 9 a.m. PST, Nicole has her marketing office hours. So for those of you talking about how do I message the movement, what needs to happen in my SEO and on my website to make that happen, I'm thinking about ads, but I'm unsure what the story should be. What does my brand need to expand into? Come and ask Nicole Aquila all of those questions from 9 to 10 a.m. PST on Thursday, April the 23rd. And then on Friday, I'll be back. It is me. She is back. I will be back at noon, 12:12. Because again, I love that I added 2 more minutes. 12:12 PST on Fridays, live on YouTube, live on Instagram, and then I'll have office hours right afterwards. So I will see y'all next week with another topic. We'll see what burgeons over the weekend of the moon, and see what there is to chat about when next I see y'all. I think that's it. Happy Friday, friends. Thank you so much for joining live. Those who joined live, thank you so much for thinking about the good that you do in the business that you have around it. I'm so, so grateful to be in such community. It is not lost on me how blessed and truly, truly privileged I am to be surrounded by so many fucking brilliant people who care so much. It changes my whole life, literally, day in and day out. I love you big. Take my love with you. Have a wonderful weekend. Go do new moon things. Accidental rituals amongst. There's this many freaking witchy women, this many planets in one constellation. Go do witchy things. All right. I love y'all. I'll see you on the flip. All right. YouTube, that means you too. Go do witchy things. If you're not witchy, no worries. But, for the ones that are, now's a good time. Have a good weekend, friends. Oh, shoot. How do I end this? We gonna stop.